Time to go to the convenience store to buy a cucumber from a cat so that I can hunt the kappa. Welcome to Ghostwire Tokyo, a pretty good 20-hour ride. You play as Akiro, a guy that crossed the road without looking both ways and got hit by a car. Akiro is now dead. Luckily for Akiro, a wraith named KK is looking for a corpse to live in, because ghosts can't possess live human beings apparently. So he jumps into Akiro, making him alive again. Unluckily for Akiro, he will soon be the only live person in Tokyo, because some dudes in Japanese scary masks are bringing some death fog into Tokyo. This death fog separates people's souls from their bodies and brings demons from the underworld to the real world, such as Slender Man and Schoolgirl Outfit, and a variety of scary ghost women. When I was a kid, I walked in on my mom watching The Ring, which of the things you could potentially walk in on your mom doing, I would say I got lucky. But since then, ghost girls are one of my biggest fears. And this game features a lot of them. And I'm happy to say that through this game I have conquered this fear, because I can kill them. KK, the wraith in Akiro, has like psychic ghost powers or something, and gives you the ability to shoot ghost stuff at the other ghosts, and then you also have Ghostwires. Haha, yeah, I said the title, humorous. To rip out the ghost's core, their heart. And that's what you do for the majority of the game. Akiro and KK are on a quest to return everything back to normal. Oh, and Akiro is also looking for his sister or something. So what is Ghostwire Tokyo actually like to play? Well, flashy, cool, and paper thin. When it comes to the combat, it's just left-click spam with the occasional melee to get ammo back, and then maybe holding right-click to rip a core out. If the gameplay reminded me of anything, it would be Doom, which makes sense since it's published by Bethesda. You have 3 ammo types: wind, which would be like your pistol, and water is like a shotgun, and then fire is like a rocket launcher. Then you have talisman, which are like stun grenades, I guess. You have wire in as your like ultimate mode where you do more damage and enemies move slower. And finally, a blocking button. This is the combat in a nutshell. Left click spam while keeping enemies at a distance, maybe blocking if enemies get close, eat a consumable for health if you get hit, and then maybe ripping a core out if that's available. Maybe some ammo switching if you want to. Also, this is important for the combat. The aiming felt super weird. And I think that's because of camera deceleration, because when I turned that off, the aiming finally felt normal, and I wasn't missing 70% of my shots. I have played many FPS games, and I've never had a worse starting experience with aim in a game. And I think that's because they overcomplicated the aiming settings. This is the first time I've ever had to think about camera acceleration and deceleration. Those options might be important for consoles, which makes me think that the PC version might have been an afterthought. A good example of that is that the blocking by default is on the mouse scroll wheel button. Who the fuck uses the mouse scroll wheel button? Luckily, I could rebind that to mouse button 4, but I will say in regards to the PC version, the performance was great. I had no problems at all. Solid FPS the whole way through, except in the very beginning of the game. Okay, let's get back to the gameplay. When it comes to enemies, you have a decent variety where enemies are capable of different things. Like the fat Slenderman will use their umbrellas as a shield. These floaty guys will float and shoot at you. And this bitch in red with the scissors will cause you to lose sleep. Fuck that smile, man. I see it when I close my eyes. I mean, hey, no, the game ain't scary. For a tough guy like me, oh fuck, that painting just smiled at me. God, this game is targeting all my fears, man. Yes, I am slightly freaked out by paintings of people. They always look like they're looking right at you. Mollingadrasl. But really, the game isn't that scary. It's definitely freaky and a lot of the time it's surreal. You're dealing with Japanese ghost stuff, so it's gonna get weird. Like there are a lot of moments where you enter some kind of ghost dimension, where it's like someone took the real world and a pair of scissors, cut the world to pieces and then randomly glued it back together. If you've watched Mob Psycho 100, you should experience a similar feeling here. Especially with the side missions where it's like, hey, I'm a ghost and there's a spookier ghost in that building, please kill the he. And you go in and take care of it with your psychic powers and then use gang signs to purify him. You also have a lot of collectibles like the souls you have to absorb, Jizo statues and yokai. Yeah, we finally got back around to the cucumber. In the skill tree, some of your upgrades will be locked off and you need yokai power to unlock it. And as you hunt the yokai, you get to learn some stuff about Japanese mythology, which I love. I'm a big mythology lover, any kind really. And the Japanese one I don't know a lot about, so I love that I learn about it in this game. Like this flying weasel with cyberpunk arm blades. The Japanese sure are creative with their mythology. So yeah, collecting. This ties more into the traversal aspect. You can sprint and jump and climb over stuff. You can grapple to a Tengu to get on the roofs, and from there you can jump and ghost glide. And I like that a lot. Jumping from roof to roof always felt really good. And I never had that platforming moment of misjudging a jump and messing it up. They did a great job with traversing the game world. The three important things you're gonna be collecting are Jizo statues, yokai and KK research notes. Yokai is usually just follow them around and wait until you can absorb them. With the kappa, you put a cucumber near water and then hide from him until he eats the cucumber. The Jizo statues are spread around the map and I had trouble finding them, but you can pray at an altar for money to have them revealed to you. And this is where they fucked up, because the difference between an acquired Jizo statue and an unacquired statue is just a slight change in the brightness of their color. They really should have put a check mark on completed stuff, instead of just making it a little more grayed out. How is a colorblind person supposed to know which is completed and which one isn't? This one needs to get fixed ASAP. But the Jizo statues increase your ammo capacity. The KK research notes are also spread around the map and you can use your ghost detective vision to find them, which gives you skill points. There are some valuables you can find, but it's not as important. The combat will feel really shallow when you fight bosses or enemies with a lot of health, because you're really just dumping ammo into them and then maybe pulling the core out. And you really just use the wind thing for most stuff, and if you see a big enemy you just switch to the fire attack to kill him. And water if you're out of everything else. I really only used the bow if I had to, because the ammo for it was pretty scarce. But it's a pretty good weapon, no complaints. Gameplay summed up. Combat doesn't have a lot of depth, but it's cool and fun, and that's what matters. Traversal is also fun and executed well. The collectathon stuff isn't tedious and annoying and doesn't really matter. You can probably just skip it and not really lose out. Gameplay, fun. Ghostwire Tokyo is one of those games that, as much as it is a fun game, it is also virtual tourism. You play this game and you can kinda feel like you're in Tokyo. Well, Tokyo at night, and sometimes Tokyo during rain. The game director Kenji Kimura said he walked around in Japan imagining what ghost demons could be lurking around in the city. So while the game might or might not be a one-to-one replica of Tokyo, it will at least feel and look like it. And my oh my does it look pretty. The buildings, the little convenience stores, the doggies everywhere. Oh, such a good boy, little cutie. Yeah, I spent a lot of time just feeding the dogs. The cats can starve to death though. Fuck them. But it isn't just a cityscape the whole way through. You have some touch of greenery around the place and even a small forest. And sometimes you get sucked into the underworld, which can be a breath of fresh air and very cool. But my absolute favorite spot was this Kappa Den. It was like a tranquil oasis in the middle of this madness. Just beautiful. I also really liked the Torii Gate Shrine Temple areas. It was like getting culturally beaten up by Japan. Yeah, you have more cool cultural architecture stuff. All we have is maybe some old-ass longboat or one of those lame wood statues. I wish we had some Torii gates. Story. I will say that the highlight of the game when it comes to story is the side missions. I found them much more interesting than the main story, which makes me wish the game was just about ghost hunting in Japan rather than this whole save the world story. I'm getting so tired of these end of the world stories. Like going to a temple and finding out that the dragon in a painting got corrupted and turned into a malicious spirit is really cool. Then fighting the bad spirits he summons and then throwing gang signs to turn him back to normal. The side missions also give you the biggest chance to learn about Japanese culture and mythology, so they have a lot to offer and they're never too long or boring. The main story, it's alright, the voice acting is good, Akiro and KK contrast each other nicely, but there are not a lot of characters, and not really a lot you could sink your teeth into. But it's a decent ride, there's nothing that stood out as bad, but nothing mind-blowing either. It's good, solid 7 out of 10. And that brings me to the conclusion. It's kinda short, it took me like 20 hours finishing the game and doing all the side missions. I think if you rush down the main story it's probably like 4 hours. I don't think I would play this game again, but I think it's a good ride the first time through. If they made a sequel, it would be a good idea to flesh out the combat a little more. You know, make it more engaging and require more thought. But the absolute highlight is the Japanese culture and mythology elements. They really raise this game up. The controls need adjusting, at least on PC. They were jarring on the default settings. Other than that, there's nothing bad except for the psychic ghost trailing mission stuff. I really love following something that is slower than my walk speed. It's my favorite video game activity and is totally not a virtual lobotomy. Luckily there's not a lot of that, and there's a lot of good in the game to balance it out. I give it 7 cucumbers out of 10 cyberpunk weasels. Good game, recommended on sale. $60? That's like 3 liters of gas right now, are you insane? Call me Uncle Brian, and have an above average day.